Welcome to 2026, ladies and gentlemen. We have graduated from not having to hear the nauseating definitions that women give for what masculinity is to now women who are transitioning to be men give the definition of what masculinity is. Let's go.
What does it mean to you to hear me say healthy masculinity?
Healthy masculinity to me is, or even just something I've felt as transitioning is like leaning away from whenever there is some sort of impulse or expectation you've put on yourself to like shut down or conform in a way that usually feels like this, like I am closing off. I remember kind of being like, oh, Elliot, maybe you should, talk with your hands a little less, or, maybe in pictures, because ever since transitioning, now I'm like, Johnny, I am smiling in those photos. Whereas I used to be I could barely look at a photo of myself. I was always like, and now, and I'll be taking to say it.
Before we even hop into that, like, where in society do we ask men what the definition of healthy femininity is? We don't even do that. But we literally live in a society where the only accepted definitions of masculinity have to come from the most feminine people. If I wanted to know what lasagna tasted like, I would go to an Italian restaurant. I would go study the ingredients for lasagna. I would not go to a Mexican restaurant, although I'm here in LA and the Mexican people do know how to make, some really good Italian food. But I'm going to go seek out what I'm really trying to learn from the sources that have that information. You know what I mean? And we got it all backwards. But I think it's a real reflection of they really don't want to know what the definition of masculinity is. They want to dominate and control the definition of what it's supposed to be.
That dude's like, hey, are you Victor from Umbrella Academy? And we're doing a photo together. He's very, I'm very, and like having that moment where I'm like, oh, should I also not? Like, should I also be
closed
off?
It's
just like, what the fuck, Elliot? What are you talking about?
They always do after on these women podcasts. They always go yeah. It's because they're not saying shit, bro.
like, oh, honey, you're the part of the problem. So I think it's, to me, healthy masculinity would be, well, healthiness for anyone to just, love themselves, be able to care for themselves, ideally get rest when they can, like just the practical basic, drink water, like eat a banana, and also just, doing what you can to be intentionally and mindfully, not letting yourself get like swayed or twisted by.
It's so fun. It's so twisted up and tangled into so many different levels of ass backwardness that she's a woman, right? She's a woman. Biologically, she's a woman. And it's so true. You know this as a man in reality. You know this as a woman yourself. Women will say one thing, but literally be believing something else completely. Like, let me ask this question to the women who give the definitions, the piss poor definitions of masculinity. Why is it that the guy that you attract to is completely different than the definition you give on masculinity? And how the hell do we let women and women who are trying to be men become the arbiters of what masculinity is? It should be insulting to every single man on this planet. I think it's comical, and I know a lot of guys would agree with that. It's hilarious.
The rules that I feel like end up like leading to so many of the problems that we see that are, do get inflicted by toxic masculinity, violence and abuse, just general cruelty. And I think it's just like healthy masculinity could just mean a really good cry. And I just want to make sure I'm always like leaning away from that pull to shut up.
This is exactly the definition you would expect coming from a woman of what masculinity is. It would mean a really good cry. Man, I didn't even, my father wasn't even present in my life, but the fatherly figures in my life, when I was 7, even as young as 7 or 8, man, if I would cry, now it wouldn't be like, you can't cry, but it would be like, boy, if you don't stop crying and get that shit done, you know what I mean? Like, you're taught early on as a young man that it ain't always about crying or expressing. You got to get it done. The burden of expectation is on you, period. And you wouldn't even, nobody would understand that unless you're a man. You know, that's why I said it should be insulting that people don't even live in your daily experience of what it's like to be a man. They can sit here and give their definitions. And of course, all the women are going to praise it. Yay, yay. It's just nonsense, bro. Anybody taking this shit serious still is just, come on, man. Stop it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Always appreciate you guys. Thank you.